Today is September 15th. However, we're going to pretend for a moment that it's September 17th, the anniversary of our United States Constitution. And I want to start off at the very beginning because when we think about why this Constitution was founded, I can't think of a better quote than what came from Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. She said, "What makes the Constitution worthy of our commitment? First and foremost, the answer is freedom. It quite simply is the most powerful vision of freedom ever expressed. It's also the world's shortest and oldest national constitution, neither so rigid as to be stifling, nor so malleable as to be devoid of meaning. Our Constitution has been an inspiration that has changed the trajectory of world history for the perpetual benefit of mankind. Back in 1787, no country in the world ever had allowed its citizens their own form of government. That's really important to know, and much less to select a democratic government at that. And what was revolutionary when it was written, and what continues to inspire the world today, is that the Constitution put governance in the hands of its people. That is so important as we approach another presidential election, making sure that everyone understands their responsibility and right to vote, and that we are putting governance in the hands of the people, not one person, but all of us. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Katz.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. We're also very pleased to have Karma Beal with us this morning, and I'm going to give a few fun facts and then ask her to add some statements as well. But there's some fun facts always associated with the Constitution, and every year we are reminded of a few of them. The first time the formal term the United States of America was used was in the Declaration of Independence. And on March 24th, 1788, now for those who are into trivia, my birthday is on March 24th, but it was a few years after 1788. But on March 24th, 1788, a popular election was held in Rhode Island to determine the ratification status of the new Constitution. The vote was 237 in favor and 2,945 opposed. So this country has gone through a little bit of this for a few years. There was a proposal at the Constitution Convention to limit the standing army for the country to 5,000 men. George Washington sarcastically agreed with the proposal as long as a stipulation was added that no invading army could number more than 3,000 troops. Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania was known as the sage of the Constitutional Convention. He was also the mediator at the convention and often counseled that we are here to consult, not to contend. Something we all should keep in mind, I guess, especially now. I think it should be noted that the other language used in various parts of the Constitution is Latin. And the last one that I'm going to bring up is that 4 of the signers of the Constitution were born in Ireland. So not all were born on American soil. Ms. Beal, would you like to add a few statements as well, please?
I can do that. I don't know how many people know that the original Constitution and Bill of Rights had no provision for voting. That was left up to the states. And as such, it was left to white, wealthy men, educated men, and women and people of color, lesser education, were not allowed to vote. It wasn't until the 15th Amendment and the 19th Amendment that African Americans and women were allowed to vote. And then the African Americans were partially disenfranchised by states by the laws they set up requiring certain things like paying a poll tax, proving your education, proving your worth, your character. And that went on until 1964 when the Civil Rights Act was passed, and then in 1965 when the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was passed. And so now almost all Americans who are 18 years of age and older can vote. Even people in the District of Columbia, Native Americans, people in the territories are allowed to vote. And that has shown that the Constitution was drawn up with thought as to how it could be amended for future generations.
Thank you very much. And with that, Craig, if you we are going to read a proclamation. Why don't you start off and read the first two, and I'll read the last two. How does that sound?
Actually, Cindy, why don't you start and I'll do the next one.
Okay. All right. Whereas the Constitution of the United States embodies the ideas and principles of our founding fathers, supplemented by the wisdom that has been reflected in our dynamic republic over 2 centuries. And whereas September 15, 2020 marks the 233rd anniversary of the framing of our Constitution by the 1787 Constitutional Convention, and please, Craig. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I'm sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty here. If you can go ahead.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Yeah. Whereas the Constitution not only embodies the hopes and aspirations of Americans for liberty and representative government, but also continues to inspire people seeking freedom the world over, and still technical difficulties. Okay. Whereas Constitution Week, celebrated September 17th to September 23rd each year, commemorates the formation and signing of the United States Constitution on September 17, 1787. Now therefore it be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby recognizes the 233rd anniversary of the United States Constitution and urges constant vigilance of county residents in protecting their liberties and rights for generations of Americans still to come. It's presented today and signed by Councilmember Craig Rice and Sidney Katz, the Council President. Thank you very much for being here for that proclamation.